Hello, welcome to Star Crafts. My name's Claire, and we are doing a collab with Claire's Crafty Corner today. It's a summer collaboration, so it will be based around summery things. So I decided to do an alphabet keychain with obviously the summer theme. So we're going to do green and blue epoxy resin 1:1. Obviously we're going to put the green at the bottom and then the blue at the top to make the grass and the sky. So I'm just mixing in some green alcohol inks with the first pot of resin. And then we will do the blue. And we're going to pour them together, because if you pour one at the top and then the other one at the bottom, it kind of equals itself out a bit, because otherwise the first one you pour will just go all over the base of the mould. So this collaboration is organised by Claire's Crafty Corner. Lots of people will be joining in, including myself. I will put a link in the description of the playlist, and hopefully you will go and watch all the other amazing artists create their summer piece. It's good to support each other. So yeah. Right, so I've just done the blue. Taking my time to make sure it's mixed in, because you can get streaks with alcohol ink if you don't mix it in properly, and it sort of attracts to the side of the pot. So I always make sure I scrape the sides of the pot really well with the alcohol inks. We don't want a streaky sky or streaky grass. I really am taking my time, aren't I? Sorry, I should have fast forwarded this bit for you. But it gave me a chance to tell you about the collaboration, so that's always a good thing. So here I am about to pour. So if you see, I do the blue first, but then quickly pour the green in after, so that the blue doesn't run down to the bottom. I would normally try and pour it together, but there's not much space in these alphabets, so. But as long as you do it quickly, straight after the blue, it levels it out. As you can see, it sort of stops moving once it touches each other. So that's good. That's what we want. So I made way too much resin. So I made extra few letters. I done E for my daughter, an L for my other daughter, an M for my friend Michelle, and then I took ages looking for the S for my mum. I couldn't find it for the life of me. See, look, where's the S? Oh, there it is. We got there in the end, hey? And then I do an A for my son, just to try and finish off the resin. I don't actually make those letters up fully. I'm doing the C for Claire, and you will see at the end what I mean by making it up fully. Once these are poured, we're going to let them cure, and then we will come back and add some bits in there to make it summery. I'll speed the rest of the video up for you because this is taking a very long time. I won't speed it up really fast. We'll just do it a little bit so that it doesn't take so long. Because you need to be careful and slow sometimes with resin to help alleviate bubbles and stuff and mistakes. Right, so here we are. I've got a bit of UV resin in that pot. I'm about to mix some white resin paste. And we're going, I don't know if you can see on the letters, are little bits of cotton wool that I've just taken off some cotton wool sticks or cotton wool buds. And I'm dipping them into the white UV resin. And this is going to be our clouds. I like to put them in there wet and then cure them because it helps with the shape of them. I did it before and I cured them outside and they had a really flat bottom and it was quite difficult to get them put in properly. So I much preferred doing it this way where you put them in wet because then they sort of mould to the letter that you're putting them in, so that they sit nicer on the letters. So after this, I do cure it with a UV lamp. And then I go back in with a little bit of the white and kind of make wispy bits from the clouds to try and make them look a little bit more realistic as realistic as cotton wool can be. Do excuse my Alexa that I've left in shot. Don't know why I did that. But as you can see, I'm just putting a little bit of the wet white resin and making the wispy bits there. I just think it looks a little bit nicer if you have a few little bits around them. And we are going to put some flowers in the bottom on the green bit. And then it will look like a nice summer day. I cut all the little flowers off to make it easier to put in, like, because obviously we've only got a small space, so we don't want giant long stems. So I will put a little layer of UV resin on the green grass and then place the flowers. I was initially going to use the leaves in there too, but I decided that it didn't look right with the leaves, so I do use the leaves on something else. You'll see in a bit. I did take a little while to do this because I started putting in all these different types of flowers and figured out that some of them weren't going to work, and so I take them back out and then move them about a bit. I do actually put a couple of flowers in the sea that were too big, and it made the top really quite bumpy, but we fix that later on. But if I was to do it again, I would make sure that I pick smaller flowers so that I wouldn't have to do so much top coating on the letter after. So hope you've all been good and hope you've all had a good spring. It's been really hot in the UK for spring, but the rain's come back now, but I'm hoping it'll go again for the summer. Otherwise we will have had our summer already and that'll be it. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Let me know how your spring's been in the comments below, where you're from, if you're in the UK or America or anywhere in the world. It'd be lovely to hear from you. So I've just got this mould up the top and it's little square beads, but it has alphabet in it. So I'm putting the leaves into this to make use of those. And then I will fill them up with clear in the leaves so that we can see the leaves. And this is me working out how to spell my name. You'll see later that I didn't do a very good job of that. I think I might need to go back to school. Get some spelling lessons. I did put a little bit of UV resin I think I put a little bit of UV resin in there to hold the flowers down. I could be wrong. But I know I do fill it up with epoxy resin. I'm not keen on doing big things with UV resin because I find I get quite a lot of bubbles in it, and sometimes it don't cure properly. Maybe I do too thick of layers, need to do thinner layers. So I do tend to use epoxy resin mostly. UV resin is really good for attaching things in moulds and stuff though, like eyes and certain flowers that you want. It's really good for that. And I use it for doming on top of things as well. So this is me just topping up the letters with epoxy resin, trying to cover the flowers, but like I said, I did put some that were a little bit too big. So they stuck out quite far. But I'm trying to dome them as much as I can with the epoxy, and then I fill up the beads. So my mum pointed out that when I do my voiceovers or when I do my videos, you can hear some little things in the background, and she thought that maybe I should tell you all who or what that is. So you will get a little clip of what those little things making those little squeaky noises are. There's a video in here to show you. So if you ever wondered what that noise was behind me, you were about to find out. You see me struggling with that C because they're quite big. But I do, like I said, I do top coat it with UV resin after, so. But it would have been better if I didn't have to do that. So definitely use the smaller flowers. It creates for a lot less faffing about. Is that a really old-fashioned word? Faffing. I think it is. But I am getting old. Right, so this is the letters cured. Just demoulding them. See, pointing out the flower that was a bit sticky out. Just cleaning round these now. Well, I only do round the C actually, because that's the one we're concentrating on. Just getting off any over pour and tidying it up a little bit. Ready for top coat. To try and cover them flowers up. That's a little deburring tool. And I was using just nail clippers before that. I find them really easy to make, to use to get the overpour off. I'm just sanding it down a little bit now to help the UV resin stick. I've got such a tiny bit of sandpaper, you can't even see it in my hand, look. I was going to use the tape, but it didn't work. So I covered the sides and the back with PVA. Here's the little rascals that make all the noise. It's really hard to get a good picture of them through the bars, but they are called zebra finch. I have 6 of them. Well, I have 8 now because they had babies and 2 of them have come out. So we now have 8 in there. And at the bottom are Chinese painted quails, or button quails, they're sometimes called. And they're in the bottom. We have an egg-eating snake, so we only have female quails so that we can feed the eggs to the snake. Right, back to it. This is where I figure out that I need to go back to school and that I can't even spell my own name because I didn't have all the letters. So I have to then make, look, I can't even figure out where I think I was looking for the R. I was like, oh, where's the R? I counting it and everything, A, B, C, D. No, I couldn't find it. Got there in the end. But they had blue in them and I wanted them clear, so I had to redo 2 of the letters with UV resin. And as I said before, I don't really like using UV resin for big things, and I did end up with a few bubbles that we have to fix, but we get there in the end. And I eventually learned how to spell my name. Not even a hard name to spell. That's me putting the UV light underneath the mould to make sure it's cured all the way around. It's best to do the top and the bottom of things. There we go, we have our letters. We're going to top coat our C with our UV resin. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my subscribers. And if you're enjoying this video and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's free and it helps my channel. Also, if you could share my videos if you like them, and like and comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you'd like to see me do. It would be much appreciated. So I had to do 2 coats on this because, like I said, the flowers were pretty sticking out. But we did get there in the end. With the letters, I'm going to fill the letter part in with a chrome marker. I'm pretty sure it was from Temu, but it's really nice actually, really shiny, just so that the letters stand out better. as I'm filling them up, this is when I notice that some of them have got bubbles in. So then I fix that by using a little thin dotting tool type thing, and just drop in little bits of UV resin inside. Then after that's dried a little bit, I will give them a wipe down, so then the silver is literally just inside the letters, because the letters are indented into the little cubes. Just looking for more holes here to fix. A bit of a pain when you get bubbles in things, but can't be helped. So this is just a bit of kitchen roll with alcohol sprayed on it, and I'm just going to rub the letters over that to clean them up. This is me peeling the PVA off. I don't know what happened to my phone then. It moved, didn't it? Just slightly out of shot now, aren't I? Sorry about that. This is me spending far too long trying to get a screw into the letter. I don't know, it just wouldn't go in. Took ages. But we got there in the end. This is where I find out that this keychain stick wasn't quite long enough for all the letters that I needed. So I removed the C, because in hindsight we've got the C really, haven't we, with the big C. So I just put the rest of the letters onto that to spell Claire. So basically it has Lair on the hanging keychain bit. I put a little, I don't know what they call it, tassel-y, blue tassel-y thing on there, a star, a clip, keychain bit, and then attached the other bit to it. And there it is. So I hope you enjoyed this collab, and check out all the other videos. Bye.